Hi, this is Randy Kaufman. I'm with Super Cool Sites. I want to start giving some lessons, not lessons, just insight into how you can make your own website produce at a high level. Just to give you a background, I've been in this business now since 2004, 15 years. So 15 years I've been working with companies. We've done hundreds of websites and have made millions of dollars for our clients. We do this through a method, and it has several steps to it. But I thought it would be nice if I did some videos and showed you what the steps are, what you need to do, how to get started, and then get into more and more detail of how to fine tune what you have. So let's just start with, I'll bring open a tab here. So the most important thing with any website, I mean, first of all, let's look at what you want to accomplish with your website. The main thing that I'm talking about are business owners that would like to have their website produce more for their company. And that means produce more clients or more sales online, or to get more contacts or have people contact them, or anything that is going to be increased activity over what they're getting now. And any activity is worth money. And later on, I'll show you how to figure out how much each activity is worth. But to get started, the best thing to do is you have to have analytics on your site. It doesn't do any good to start playing around with your site unless you know what the numbers are. I know that you might be getting phone calls or people that contact you from your site, but you really don't know what percentage. You might be getting 5 calls a month, but then what you don't realize is you have 2,000 people a month that are going to your site. So if you were converting at 1%, you'd be getting 20 calls, or 4 times as much as you were getting before. So it's important to know. And so let's start with the very basic. So if you have a brand new site, or you have a site that's been around for a while and you want to get started on making your site better and making it produce at a much higher rate than it's producing now, the very first thing that you have to do, if you haven't done it already, is have Google Analytics on your site. And Google Analytics is a program that will tell you a lot of interesting things about how many people are going to your site, where they're coming from, so on and so forth. But the main thing that you want to get down to are the goals, and how many people are doing things that are going to help your company increase revenue. So for example, I just wanted to pull up one here. This particular company in August this year has 20 goals completed for a value of $4,900. Their goal conversion rate 0.45%, which is not that great, but it's better than they were doing. So once you know this, then you can start figuring out ways to make it better. But I don't want to get into this too much now, except that I want to show you that, yeah, here is a way to monitor what you're doing, and you can look at where your audience is coming from. For example, you can see the different locations throughout the country, so you can see if they're coming from the United States, what states that they're coming from. You can even drill down into the state to see what parts of the state they're coming from. And this is good information, especially if you're dealing with a local audience for your website. So extremely important, get Google Analytics on your site. That would be step number one. Now, I said that I would show you how to set up goals. Once you've got analytics on your site, you have to determine how much each interaction with your site is worth. So let's pull up a spreadsheet here, and I'll show you a good way to do this. In fact, I'll show you a better way. Well, I'll do two ways. The first way is with a spreadsheet, which is going to be very simple. Let's say value of a new customer is, let's say, $1,000. Now, so if you have, let's say, of people that call you, you get one new client from 10 calls. So if you get, let's just say, clients per phone call, 1 of 10, we'll say. So if you got 1 out of 10, well, that's simple. You can divide, and let's say you've averaged this out over several months, so you know this to be a fact. So if that's a fact, then the next thing that you know is that every time somebody calls you, it's worth $100. So because eventually you're going to sell one of those. So each call is worth $100. So, and this is just a very basic example. Now, and you can apply this to anything. So if you have coupons, for example, then you can see how many people clicked on the coupon, how many coupons you redeemed. If you're selling online, you can see how many people went to see the product, how many people bought the product. So what you want to get down to eventually is to find out how much each visitor to your website is worth. Now, let's take this one step further so that you know that each call you get is worth $100. But let's say that you have, let's just to keep it simple, we'll say you have 1,000 people, fingers on the wrong keys, visiting your site each month. If you have 1,000 people visiting the site, let's say your conversion rate is 0.5%. We'll make this a percentage. So take it out. So let's say it's 0.5%. So plus 1,000 times the percentage gives you 5 calls per month. So 5 calls per month, and you know each call is worth $100. So you take plus the 100 times the 5 equals $500 a month. Okay. So so let's say that you can do some things to make this better. What's the first thing? There's 2 ways to make this better. Number 1 is to get more people to your website. Okay. We have to take one more step in this, though. We have to determine what each visitor to the site is worth. Okay. So if we're getting $500 per month and 1,000 people are going there, let's say, so basically each visitor is worth $2. All right. Or no, 50 cents. So yeah, that should be right. So we got what the heck are you doing? Point. My computer's messed up on me. It's not the operator, that's for sure. Value of each website visitor. And And we'll just say that we're not going to use any other conversion because I want to keep this simple for this, just to explain the concept of this. There's going to be other ones, you know, hopefully, if you're doing it right, you're going to have a different way of converting. You're going to have people that fill out a quote form or free quote or a contact form or answer on the blog or sign up for a special or do a coupon or something. Buy your product online. There's going to be all different kinds of conversions, but you can use the same type of formula, you know, to figure out what each visitor is worth for that particular one. But the reason I'm going to figure out how much a visitor is worth is because I said there's two ways to increase your revenue. One is to increase the number of people going to your site. Two is to increase your conversion rate. So let's put here, this is your conversion rate. So I'll make this a little bigger. I don't know if that's hard to read or not. Let's make this font a little bit bigger. There, that makes it easier to read, maybe. So, so far we got the value of new customer is $1,000. We'll just do a quick recap. You sell 1 out of every 10 clients that call you. So you determine that each call is worth $100. So if you have 1,000 people visiting your website each month, and you're converting at 0.5%, you're going to get 5 calls a month. So 5 calls a month equals out. You know that each call is worth $100, so you're going to have $500. Well, what can you do? Well, you can increase the number of visitors. Well, before we do that, here's the best thing to do. Let's increase your conversion rate. Why don't we see if we can get your conversion rate to 2%? I think that would be a much better conversion rate. So if you get to 2%, now you get 20 calls a month and $2,000 per month from phone calls. So now each visitor, we've got to do this differently. So let's do plus 1,000 times the percentage. So the value of each visitor now is $20. Doesn't sound right? No, it should be $2. Conversion rate. Let's say it's 0.2. No, 0.02. I should be dividing this, maybe. See how smart I am? Well, obviously we can see each one should be worth what? If we got 20 calls a month, oh, I'm dividing it by the wrong thing. So if we get 2,000 by 20, so if we do plus this divided by this equals $2. Yeah, that makes more sense. All right, so we have a $2 value for each visitor. Now, as we increase the conversion rate, say if we go 3%, now you can see $3. All right, so this is good. And the reason that it's good is because the other way that you get more people to your site is advertising. You know, AdWords, Facebook ads, any kind of ads, you know, I mean, even radio ads, television ads, whatever. You know, you see these kind of ads all the time. People advertising on the radio, go to so-and-so.com, or even on TV with some products or things. They all want you to go to their website because they know that out of the certain percentage that go there, they're going to convert at a certain rate. So if it's costing them, let's say $1.50 to get each person to the website, and each one is worth $3, they're making $1.50 for every one they increase. So let's see. If we increase this to, let's say we buy it up to 4,000, well now our value is 12,000 a month that we get from it. So this is just a quick lesson on how to figure out what each visitor to your website is worth and how to determine the value of your goals so that you can set this up in Google Analytics. So that's all I'm going to do for now. I'm going to try and do a lot more of these to give you some good information. And I wanted to take you through the whole gamut, you know, starting from brand new to doing this, to not knowing what you're doing with your website, to getting your website to produce at a high rate. And if you follow these steps, I guarantee you it will work. It has to work. You know, I've seen it work for hundreds of clients. I can look at just about any website and then point out everything that they need to do to get the conversions up. And most of the websites that I see could convert at a minimum of 5 times better, or let's say 3 times better than what it's doing now. But we've had them go up to 25% conversion rate. And that's pretty high. And we've got several clients that are at the 10% rate. So a lot of them weren't converting. They were converting at about 0.5% when we started. So by doing these things with your website, or if you don't know how to do it, you can talk to your web guy and say, hey, look, you know, let's get this set up on Google Analytics, get our goals set up. I'm going to, you as a business owner, are going to determine what each interaction is worth, you know, and this is just one example of phone calls. You can use the same formula for contact forms or requesting quotes or anything. All you have to do is know out of how many that you get, what percentage are turning into clients and how much each new client is worth. Once you have that information, then you can do the rest of the calculations here. So that's all I have for now. I'm going to post this, and I'm going to be posting a lot more, and hopefully you'll enjoy them, and if they do you some good, that would be great.